It all began on a quiet Sunday afternoon, the kind of day where time seems to stretch endlessly before you. My sister, Emily, had been nagging me for weeks to help her clean out her wardrobe. She claimed it was overflowing with clothes she no longer wore, and since I was the one with the organizational skills, I was elected for the job. Reluctantly, I agreed, thinking it would be a quick, mundane task. Little did I know it would change my life forever. As I sifted through the piles of dresses, skirts, and blouses, I couldn't help but feel a strange sense of curiosity. Emily had always been so passionate about fashion, and her wardrobe was a testament to that. There were sequin dresses, floral prints, and even a few vintage pieces that looked like they belonged in a museum. But one dress in particular caught my eye. It was a deep emerald green, with a flowing skirt and delicate lace detailing. The fabric felt like silk, and it shimmered in the light as if it had a life of its own. I couldn't resist the urge to try it on. I told myself it was just for fun, a way to pass the time. But as soon as I slipped it over my head, I felt a strange sensation wash over me. At first, it was just a tingling in my fingers and toes, like tiny sparks of electricity. But then, it spread throughout my entire body and I could feel myself changing. My voice, once deep and masculine, became softer, more melodic. My body began to shift, my shoulders narrowing, my hips widening. I watched in awe as my hair grew longer, cascading down my back in waves of golden brown. I stumbled over to the mirror, my heart pounding in my chest. The reflection staring back at me was unrecognizable. Gone was the boy I had always known, replaced by a stunning young woman with wide, doe-like eyes and full, pouty lips. I reached up to touch my face, half expecting the image to disappear, but it was real. I was real. Panic set in as I realized what had happened. I frantically tried to remove the dress, but it was as if it had fused to my skin. No matter how hard I tugged, it wouldn't budge. I was trapped, transformed into a version of myself I barely recognized. The days that followed were a blur of confusion and self-discovery. At first, I tried to hide my new appearance, wearing baggy clothes and avoiding mirrors. But the dress had other plans. It seemed to have a mind of its own, subtly influencing my thoughts and actions. One morning, I woke up to find my room had been completely redecorated. The walls were painted a soft pink, and my bed was adorned with frilly pillows and stuffed animals. My closet was filled with feminine attire, from cute sundresses to elegant evening gowns. I felt a strange pull towards the clothes, a desire to try them on and see how they looked on my new body. I resisted at first, but the urge was too strong. I found myself reaching for a floral print dress, slipping it on with a mix of trepidation and excitement. As I looked in the mirror, I couldn't help but admire how the dress hugged my curves, accentuating my new figure. Felt right in a way I couldn't explain. The changes weren't just physical. My thoughts began to shift as well. I found myself drawn to things I had never cared about before. Makeup, skincare, fashion. I spent hours watching tutorials online, learning how to apply foundation, mascara, and lipstick. I experimented with different looks, each one making me feel more confident and beautiful. But the most surprising change was my attraction to boys. I had never considered myself interested in men before, but now I couldn't help but notice how handsome they were. There was one boy in particular, Alex, who caught my eye. He was tall, with dark hair and piercing blue eyes. Every time he smiled at me, my heart would skip a beat. As the days turned into weeks, I found myself falling deeper into my new life. I embraced my feminine side, enjoying the freedom it brought. I no longer felt the need to hide who I was, and I began to see the beauty in my transformation. Alex and I grew closer, our friendship blossoming into something more. We would spend hours talking, laughing, and sharing our dreams. He made me feel special, like I was the only girl in the world. I knew it was wrong to keep my secret from him, but I was afraid of how he would react. Would he still see me the same way if he knew the truth? One evening, as we sat together under the stars, I finally found the courage to tell him. I explained everything: the dress, the transformation, the confusion I felt. To my surprise, he didn't run away or laugh. Instead, he took my hand and told me that it didn't matter to him. He loved me for who I was, not what I looked like. Tears filled my eyes as I realized how lucky I was to have him in my life. For the first time since the transformation, I felt truly happy. I had found someone who accepted me for who I was, and that was all that mattered. As my relationship with Alex grew stronger, I also found myself becoming closer to Emily. She had always been my confidant, the one person I could turn to no matter what. Now more than ever, I needed her guidance and support. Emily was thrilled with my transformation, seeing it as an opportunity for us to bond in a new way. She taught me everything she knew about being a woman, from how to walk in heels to the best skincare routines. We spent countless hours together, shopping, doing each other's makeup, and talking about boys. I began to see myself not just as a sister, but as a friend and mentor to Emily. I wanted to be the best version of myself, not just for me but for her. I wanted to show her that it was okay to be yourself, no matter what that looked like. As time went on, I began to fully embrace my new life. I no longer saw the transformation as a curse, but as a gift. It had given me the opportunity to explore a side of myself I never knew existed, and to find love and acceptance in the process. I continued to grow and evolve, both as a woman and as a person. I took pride in my appearance, enjoying the rituals of skincare and makeup. I found joy in fashion, experimenting with different styles and trends. And most importantly, I found happiness in my relationships with Alex and Emily. The magic dress had changed my life in ways I never could have imagined. It had taken me on a journey of self-discovery, teaching me to love and accept myself for who I was. And as I looked in the mirror each day, I couldn't help but smile at the reflection staring back at me, a confident, beautiful woman who had finally found her place in the world. However, life wasn't without its challenges. As I settled into my new identity, I faced numerous obstacles that tested my resolve. The first major hurdle came at school. My classmates, who had known me as Chris, were now confronted with Chrissy, the girl who had seemingly appeared out of nowhere. The whispers and stares were constant, and I could feel the weight of their curiosity and judgment. At first, I tried to ignore them, focusing on my studies and my time with Alex and Emily. But the pressure began to mount, and I found myself questioning whether I had made the right choice in embracing this new life. The fear of rejection and the uncertainty of my future weighed heavily on my mind. One particularly difficult day, after a series of harsh comments from a group of students, I broke down in tears. Alex found me in the library, hidden away in a corner, my face buried in my hands. He sat beside me, his presence a comforting anchor in the storm of my emotions. "Chrissy," he said softly, "you don't have to face this alone. I'm here for you no matter what." His words were a balm to my wounded spirit. I realized that I didn't have to endure the challenges by myself. I had people who cared about me, who supported me, and who believed in me. With their help, I found the strength to face the world with my head held high. As the weeks turned into months, the changes within me continued to deepen. My thoughts and feelings became more aligned with my new identity, and I found myself embracing aspects of femininity that I had never considered before. One of the most significant changes was my interest in beauty and self-care. I developed a meticulous skincare routine, pampering my skin with masks, serums, and moisturizers. I experimented with different makeup looks, from natural and understated to bold and glamorous. Each new discovery brought me a sense of joy and fulfillment. I also found myself drawn to fashion in a way I never had before. I loved the way clothes could express my personality and mood. I spent hours browsing through fashion magazines and online stores, curating a wardrobe that reflected my unique style. Dressing up became a form of self-expression, a way to celebrate who I was. But the most profound change was in my relationships. My bond with Emily grew stronger as we shared our experiences and supported each other. She became my confidant, my partner in crime, and my biggest cheerleader. Together, we navigated the complexities of life, finding strength in our sisterhood. My relationship with Alex also deepened. We shared a connection that went beyond the physical, a bond built on trust, understanding, and mutual respect. He saw me for who I truly was, and his love gave me the courage to be myself. Despite the happiness I had found, there was always a lingering doubt in the back of my mind. The magic dress had given me a new life, but it had also taken away the person I used to be. I couldn't help but wonder if I had made the right choice, if I had truly embraced my new identity, or if I was simply playing a role. One night, as I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, I decided to confront these doubts head-on. I needed to understand the true nature of the dress and the transformation it had brought about. I needed to know if this was who I was meant to be. The next day, I sought out Emily and told her everything. I explained the doubts and fears that had been plaguing me, the questions that had no answers. She listened patiently, her eyes filled with compassion and understanding. "Chrissy," she said, "the dress may have started this journey, but it's you who has chosen to embrace it. You've found happiness, love, and a sense of purpose. That's what matters. The dress is just a tool, a catalyst for change. The real magic is in you." Her words resonated deeply within me. I realized that the dress had given me the opportunity to explore a side of myself I had never known, but it was my choices, my actions, and my heart that had shaped my new life. I had taken control of my destiny, and in doing so, I had found my true self. With this newfound understanding, I felt a sense of peace and clarity. I no longer saw the dress as a source of confusion or fear, but as a symbol of my journey. It had given me the courage to be myself, to embrace who I was, and to find happiness in the most unexpected places. I continued to live my life with confidence and grace, facing each day with a sense of purpose and determination. My relationships with Alex and Emily flourished, and I found joy in the simple moments, laughing with friends, exploring new interests, and discovering new aspects of myself. The magic dress still hung in my closet, a reminder of the journey I had taken. I no longer feared it, but instead saw it as a symbol of my transformation. It had given me the courage to be myself, to embrace who I was, and to find happiness in the most unexpected places. As I stood in front of the mirror, dressed in a beautiful red gown, I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. I had come so far, and I knew that this was just the beginning. The future was full of possibilities, and I was ready to face it head-on as the woman I had become. And as I walked out the door, hand in hand with Alex, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, I would face them with confidence and grace. Because I was no longer the boy who had stumbled upon a magic dress. I was a woman, strong, beautiful, and unafraid to be herself. Years passed, and my life continued to evolve. Alex and I built a life together, filled with love, laughter, and shared dreams. Emily and I remained close, our bond unbreakable. I had found a sense of peace and contentment that I had never known before. The magic dress remained a cherished part of my story, a symbol of the journey that had shaped me into the person I had become. I often thought about the day I had first tried it on, the fear and confusion I had felt. But now I saw it as a turning point, a moment that had set me on the path to self-discovery and happiness. As I looked back on my life, I realized that the dress had given me more than just a new identity. It had given me the courage to be myself, to embrace who I was, and to find happiness in the most unexpected places. It had taught me that true beauty comes from within, and that the most important thing is to be true to yourself. And as I stood in front of the mirror, dressed in a beautiful red gown, I couldn't help but smile at the reflection staring back at me, a confident, beautiful woman who had finally found her place in the world.